What's going on, SSBL peeps? It is now episode what? 13?
14. 14.
14? 14.
We've done
Eesh.
14 of these.
14 of these. Wow, that's a lot of
Who would have thought?
I would have.
Not me.
We have now surpassed well amount of jacked episodes.
Yeah, I think. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. You have gotten down on. First of all, you said surpass the number of jacked episodes. The other podcast was rigged. Put some
Oh
respect
yeah,
on it.
rigged. Wow.
Second of all, I think there was more episodes of rigged than you realize. Now,
Maybe.
coherent episodes, coherent. Again, nothing against the former podcast host in any regard, but coherent wise, we're
Right.
definitely more organized.
No, for sure, for sure. Even though we have no true agenda on this episode, but
Got an idea.
it's just straight to the point here because we just finished the divisional round, so there's a lot to talk about with these matchups. I mean, just if you're new to the podcast or if you're just catching up on where we're at in the SSBL. We had just finished the divisional round, and I'll give you the matchups. Heroic, you had Gauchos Lumberjacks, which we thought was Boston Red Sox versus Yankees. Retrievers and Dragons, which we'll get to that one. That's an interesting matchup. We'll get to that one in a
Do
little
we do
bit.
we have to get to that one though?
We'll,
Like,
we'll, we'll
do
make it
we
brief.
have to
We'll
talk
make it
about
brief.
it?
We'll make it brief.
We don't have to talk about anything.
Stingers Ball Players, which is a divisional championship rematch, basically. Like these two are fighting for that division for the entire season. Rematch, basically, in that regard. And then we have Unicorns Wildcats, which the Unicorns won the season series 2-0. Then they come in here in a best of three. And we'll start with that one because this is a very interesting series to look at because the average runs scored for the Unicorns in these three games, because it went to three. The Wildcats did win. There's the spoiler, real quick, before we get into the rest of it. 2 runs. They had 2 runs each game. They scored 2 runs. The last 2 games, it was 5-2 both times. Wildcats won 5-2 in their 2 wins. It's a very interesting thing to think about, even though it's super random. But they both won. They won 5-2 in both of their wins. I think this Wildcat squad is going to put up a freaking fight, and I think it's the storytelling here is incredible as they head to the Epic Conference Finals for their second time in history, and they face the Stingers in their first time in history. But what was game 1 of season 8? It was 19-4 Wildcats over the Stingers. And we now have them both facing off in the Epic Conference Finals. What are your thoughts on how
Well,
this road has, like, we have come to this?
the first thing that has to be said is that we're going to be seeing like full-fledged rotations from each of these squads because both of them angled up their starters based off of their regular season schedule. So this is our first opportunity to see sort of like actual one versus actual one, two versus actual two.
Yep.
Especially the ones. You're not going to screw around with the ones because the ones are going to play in game 5 if necessary. So we will see the best pitchers at number 1. Um, if I could just briefly say something about the Unicorns, it's they've generated runs in the games that they win. Like if you look at the games that they've won in the regular season, they put up 6 runs, 8 runs, 9 runs. The offense was there. In the games they lose, where is the offense? And like I know that's obvious of like, oh, their offense wasn't there, therefore they lost the game. Like that makes sense. But at the same rate, like it's just like there's no consistency in the offense. And I'm sure it's incredibly frustrating for Elder in that not that the Wildcats aren't a good team. The Wildcats have a ridiculous pitching staff, right? But it's one of those things where the offense has just never really hit up to where it should be. That offense is stacked and it has never produced the runs that they should. And then, for the Wildcats heading into this series, uh, season 5, they faced a juggernaut, right? They faced your Skulls team. And I think like it's safe to say that how did I know? It must be nice to have made at least a conference final. That must be a great feeling. You have to tell me what it's like sometime.
I'll let you know.
Um, but it's they no one really gave them a chance season 5, right? Because of how dominant. I don't think we'll have ever seen as dominant a team in the regular season and the postseason as the Skulls. The Skulls were a team that just absolutely dominated the regular season and they absolutely dominated in the postseason. Um, so for the Wildcats, this is like their first real chance
Yeah.
to legitimately get to a super series. And I'll talk about the Stingers when we talk about ball players names. Well, soon we'll talk about after this. But for the Wildcats, yeah, the fact that they did win that first game over the Stingers, that kind of kicked off this entire season of they had a horrible season last season. They went 3-11 last season. And I think they were my biggest underachievers last season. I did not expect them to have that because there was nothing indicating that they were going to have a bad season like that. And so for them to go 3-11, well, there was only well, okay, the Retrievers went 3-11, and they're the ones in the heroic conference finals. So we have two 3-11 teams that made it through. And the other thing to note as well is that we will have for the 8th season a new champion. Every single season we've had new champions, which is starting to get hard to replicate because if you look at next season, you now have a third of the league has had a Super Series title. None of the expansion sides are going to win Super Series next year. So literally half of the potential SSBL is in a chance to win a Super Series for the first time. I think we might have our first repeat champion next season,
No,
to be honest.
I'm gonna agree with that. And in a note here, this is actually very interesting to look at. Their unicorns, including the postseason, they they won their last 5 games. They
Oof.
they scored, and looking back, it will even go their last win, like major win, was Skulls of Rock. They won 10-0. Since then, they have put up 2 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs. They have not scored more than 2 runs in their last 5 games. So their offense has just been it just disappeared. I think they left them with the Skulls of Rock guys and just said they beat the Skulls of Rock 10-0. They're like, damn, we're really fucking good.
And
And
it's not like they
then
don't have good hitters. Like you got Musha batting over 500 is basically going to be the epic MVP, and it's just there just wasn't anything there for them.
yeah, because looking at it, they lose after that Skulls of Rock win. They lose 3-2 to the Unicorn. They lose 2-1 to the Cyclones, and then they're off for a while until the Epic Divisional. They win 2-1 against the Wildcats, then lose 5-2 twice to the Wildcats. So the offense literally scored 2, 4, 6, 7, 9 runs in 5 games, where they scored 10 in one. That's
I don't know what else. I mean, here's the thing: Elder's not going to have to retool the bullpen
mm-mm.
or the pitching for a long time.
No,
So he's got the ability to kind of just build up whatever positional players he needs. But
right.
I feel like he has all the tools that he needs for a super series, and it's not
Which
there for some reason.
Which then, if we look at, here's something else to note: we have unicorns sitting at picks number 18 and 19 in the first round. Like so that's the crazy thing is there's so much because of how well Elder structures his trades to get the most value, not just short term but long term. He's now set himself up to where there are people desperate for first rounders. Some people with some pretty solid players on their team. He has so much leverage right now, sitting in back-to-back first-round picks. Will he trade them? Will he keep them? We have no idea, but that's
He
gonna.
tends to be pretty active. I think he'll. I
Mhm.
think he'll. I don't think he'll fully trade out of the first round. But I could see him leveraging what he has because that's the thing is that he's sort of like in my football manager save I have just won the Premier League with AFC Wimbledon, and in order to win a Champions League, like I kind of need that top end talent. At the same rate, I still need to be fostering my young talent in order to be able to compete in the future seasons. And we all know Elder is very cognizant of the future. He makes everyone very aware of where the league is heading and
Right.
what the league will be in future seasons. He's probably the person who thinks the most. He probably thinks about season 11, season 12 more than
Well,
we do.
here's the thing: is see, we look at season 10 picks. He has 3 first rounders already.
Are you
In season
serious?
10, he's got his own. He's got the Serpents, and he's got the Unicorns, and then he's got 2 second rounders.
He's got the ball players.
Yeah, the ball players, Serpents, and his own Unicorns pick. See, and then round 2, he's got the Express pick, the Unicorns, and he's out of the 3rd round. But he's got 5 picks in season 10. So here's the thing: is the Unicorns have all the assets in the world to set themselves up to build the offense to be a little bit more reliable and like fill in some gaps to where the offense is struggling. They have all the assets.
Hey, you know who has 3 first round picks in the season 10 draft? And this has just made my day.
Dragons.
The Dragons had 3. I don't know how I did it. I always seem to lose them.
I think I traded you one of them, to be honest with you. But the Unicorns, like, yeah, like you said, they have the pitching and they have pitching for days. That's not their problem. Their problem is being able to, against really tough pitchers, you know, get on base and score runs. So it's a matter of, I think maybe they should target more like some speed, get some speed on the base paths. Because look at the Serpents, they know how to put up runs even against some tough teams. They put up the runs. They just don't have the pitching to keep the runs back. So the Unicorns have that. So maybe that's something they do to advance themselves next season. But moving on to the Stingers and Ball Players matchup again. Nova's ball players have now won it 2 straight seasons. The Stingers are like, well, shit, shit. Like we've been so close 2 seasons in a row. We can't beat the ball players like. What can we do? You know what? We'll 2-0 them. How about that? 2-0 these guys. Will keep their epic divisional curse alive. They have not advanced past the epic divisional since the Super Series in season 1, which of course back then there was no conferences, so there's no divisional round. But
You want an even crazier stat?
yeah.
Here's an even crazier stat. There have been 7 seasons of postseason since that season 1 appearance. In that 7 seasons, they have made the postseason 5 times. They have won 1 series.
Wow.
Furthermore, they are 3-11 in their
Wow.
last 14 in that span.
Wow. That's crazy. That's
Sometimes
enormous.
I don't mean to rub this in onto Maniac in any way, but it does make me feel better.
It's that's an interesting stat to bring up, but it's also we bring up the ball players a lot because Maniac said you might have to just completely retool the entire team.
But
Which
it's
he does.
bullshit. It's bullshit. He always says that. He always says I'm good at the retool it, and out of nowhere pulls up these ridiculous players, and they end up going 13-3.
Yeah.
Like who realistically had the ball players going 13-3 this season? Nobody.
So here's the thing: is because Maniac always has these very ambitious trades. Like I'm gonna go after like he has young talent, somehow finds a way to get young talent, but he also finds a way to get like that superstar. What is he gonna do this offseason? Because he has assets to trade, but will he get what he wants? That's the question. I don't know what he wants, but will he get it?
I'm gonna pull up because if you're asking like how does he get good players, I'll tell you how he gets good players. Here's a little bit of a trade. Oh, was he not? No, he was in that trade that I got. Where is it? There it is. So this is a trade. Uh, I got Harry Shelton homer runs and the ball players season 9 second round. He got uh, uh, Jerry Thunder, Iron Hands, Papa Dog, Forrest Rilo. That's how he gets young talent. Is he finally traded away Shelton and runs and a season 9 second. And I guess that's not as one sided as I thought it was in terms of like Hands and Dog. Hands has been ridiculous for him behind the plate. Dog has been a great DH for him. Jerry's been kind of like an off the bench, but Jerry's very much like he can be in the future. Riley's just kind of like a filler. So I really just think it depends on like what I do in my window with Shelton and runs, which is obviously I can't even get into the conference finals, so maybe it is more one sided. Um,
He can't get into it either, so.
yeah, turns out. How many trades do we have to do before I can get back into before we both get back? Maybe we both can't get into the conference finals until both of us get into the conference finals.
Maybe. Here's the thing: Stingers looked great from a pitching perspective.
Oh, they look so good.
That's exactly what they need, especially facing a team that made them look like they are gonna have a shit season from game number one. Game number one of the entire season 8, 19-4 victory, Wildcats over Stingers. Questioned, what is this Stinger? Who is this Stingers team? Like, is this gonna be like? Are they gonna suck this season? They just got destroyed by the Wildcats. What's that gonna be like? Will that pitching staff, now that Squared has figured out his rotation and who's good where? Same thing with Aggie with the Wildcats. This, I think, is going to be a very similar series to the Ball Players series. I don't think there might be one game where there's like an outlier of a high scoring affair, but I think this is going to be relatively low scoring. Maybe more than a 2-1 game or a 3-2 game, maybe like a 5-4, 6-5. I think these are going to be very close games, but not a lot of runs are going to be put up on the board. I think these pitching staffs are too good to bring up that type of 19-4 one-off win that the Wildcats got.
And here's what I'll say about the Stingers. Granted, they have a sample size of 7, but they are the most successful postseason team in SSBL history. They have a 71% win percentage. They went 1-2 last season. They're 4-0 so far. That is very much a case of a small sample size, because if you go to minimum 10 games played or even minimum 20 games played, you then have the Retrievers, who have a 68% winning percentage. They are 15-7 all time in the postseason. Yeah, here's the thing about the Stingers, is that this has been a long time coming. And I think that Stingers Unicorns would have been, in terms of like, this is the rebuild, right? And as well as we would have been guaranteed having the epic send over a team that has won a minor super series. Instead, we have a conference finals with 2 teams that are guaranteed to send a winner to the minor super series, because the minors have had the Jungle Kings, the Corns of Pop, and the Spartans. So there was a 3 out of 4 chance that the Epic was going to send a squad that won a minor super series. And now the question is it going to be I wouldn't say veterans, but established players now, in terms of if they were drafted season 5 players are like about to enter their prime right now, and that's the Stingers case. So the Stingers window, I wouldn't say the window is closing anytime soon, but their window is a lot closer to them than the Jungle Kings, the Wildcats, who just won it last season in season 8. So it's a battle of like 2 teams that have both won Super Series in the minors. It's gonna, and the thing is that it's built off of pilching.
Yeah.
Pilching. Pitching. It's built off of pitching. I almost said it wrong again. It's built off of pitching.
All right.
Let's move on.
So we'll talk about the pilching matchup between we'll talk about the Retrievers and Dragons. And there's only one thing, like it's like 2 words I have to say about this. I can't think of. Oh my gosh, I just like went blank. What's his freaking name? The guy who came in. I've been talking, listening to him all.
Oh, Yankee No Brim.
Yankee.
Why did you force me to say it? That's even
maybe
that's more.
Maybe that's what I meant to do.
That's even more Yankee fucked up. Is that you made me say it?
So here's the thing. In the postseason so far, the Retrievers have this many home runs. That is 5. Can't count on viewers. If you can't count that, it's 5 home runs. That's how many Yankee No Brim has. He makes up a good majority. Well, not
How much did
majority,
we
but a good
spray for the
amount,
graphics department for this
right? A
illustration?
good amount of those home runs are Yankee Nobrim, and they have given the lead. And here's something to keep in mind as we go into the Gauchos Retrievers series. If it's late in the game and Honey Bear is up, there's a runner in scoring position. Count on Yankee No Brim with RBI man to come through in the clutch because Honey Bear is out of there. He's out of there. Yankee No Brim will come in because he came in twice for Honey Bear with a runner in scoring position, and he executed with the home
I
run.
know. I know, Josh.
I didn't
I
know if
know,
you know.
Josh.
I didn't know if you knew. So I just wanted
This is
to,
really true. I had the lead in the 7th inning for both of these games.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here now, heartbroken.
Back in my day,
The Dragons have now won 1 series since season 2.
Back in my day, season 1, the 7th inning of game number 2 against the wrong fielders. Winner of that series advances to the Super Series, the first ever Super Series in the league. 7th inning, Dragons gave up 7 runs. The 7th inning curse of the Dragons in the postseason. Real thing. Dates back all the way back into the Stone Age of the SSBL.
Some things worth noting, Yankee Nobrim, former Walkers player. So even though that organization is destitute and I absolutely dominate them every year, they still find a way to neg me.
Yep.
Another thing for the Retrievers, Puppet has been to the postseason 2 times. This is the second time. The first time, he went 7-0 before he got into the Super Series, where he lost 4-2. He is currently 4-0. Will the Retrievers sweep the Gauchos? Nope.
Nope. That's
But
not
it's still interesting. It is also interesting to note that there's never been a 3 seed to win a Super Series. There's been 1 seed, there's been 2 seed, there have been 2 4 seeds, and I believe 2 5 seeds,
and 1-6,
and 1 6 seed.
and we have
There's never been
a 6, 2 4s, and a 3 in our conference finals.
So the Retrievers are the only way that we could have a 3 seed win for the first time.
So statistically, the best advantage of winning the Super Series is going to Gauchos and Stingers, based on just history, yeah, because they're both 4 seeds.
I would also say based on team wise, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, but if we're talking about seeding history says number 4 seed wins like most of the time. We have 2 4 seeds. We could have 4 versus 4. We also imagine this. Imagine the Wildcats coming in, who we thought were out. They were blessed. Because the High Rollers did what the High Rollers needed to do to win that last game. They just needed more help. And it was the Wildcats who did it. The Wildcats beat the Bombers to force the High Rollers out of the picture of a play-in game. Here they are in the Epic Conference Finals facing the Stingers. But yeah, the Retrievers beat you. That's the end of that story. Nothing else to really say about that series. Retrievers had that dog in them. And now we'll head to a series where this series busted so many brackets. Okay? So many brackets.
I think it's relevancy or recency bias, to be honest. I think that like the Gauchos they were on a 4-game losing streak when people made brackets, and they were on a 5-game losing streak. And then if you even think, because they lost that first game as well, they got absolutely shellacked in that first game. The Lumberjacks put up 12 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah.
But they had lost then, let's see, 2-2. They had lost 6 of their last 8 games heading into game 2 of that divisional. And here's the thing about the Gauchos, right? We all know that they and the Lumberjacks are the best teams in the Heroic. Full stop. It's frankly on paper, it's not even close. It's just not even close. And the Gauchos, just their bullpen was leaky, even though their bullpen was dominant. in ratings. And that's the thing about this league, right? Is that anything can happen. And anything did happen, and it put them into an impossible scenario. Of all the teams that they had to face in the first round, they had to face the Romfielders, and they went one game down. Of all the teams they had to face in the divisional, they had to face the Lumberjacks, and they went one game down. And I think a lot of people are counting out the Gauchos because of sort of like the Bombers, right? The Bombers didn't play up to where they should have this season. And I think people kind of voted based off that, even though these squads are ridiculous on the rating sheet.
Right.
And this is what we are seeing now. We are seeing like, hey, just make postseason. Seriously, just make postseason. These best of threes, who knows? Who knows who's going to win these best of threes? But here's the Gauchos now in a position. They're in the conference finals for the second straight season, and they don't have a dominant Viking squad to get past this time. This time it's the Retrievers, and I'm going to be honest. The Gauchos are a much better team than the Retrievers. The Gauchos are a much better team than the Retrievers.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are counting on the game rather than counting on like what if you looked at these two teams, there are clear separations. Clear separations. And I think that both of these teams kind of undermet expectations this season. But both have fully redeemed themselves by making the conference finals. And I think that this is the Gauchos' time to make it through. I
No.
just think that there's that much dominant, but it was not guaranteed at all. 16-1 in that first game, that second game 4-1, that third game it was 9-2, was much more dominant. But that game too was close for a while. And especially after a 16-1 win, like for the Gauchos to come back like that, it's just shows that like they they're a really good team, and to be honest, I think if they win the Super Series this season, they're still favorites to win it next season too.
No, I agree, and I think that's probably the first. I would probably say that's if they were to win it, they'd be the first team that I would say that they are the absolute favorites to win it again. I think dating back, I don't think there's a single team that I think I could truly say they're gonna win it this season, like with no other like true competitors. The Gauchos, if they win it, they're it. Like that, there's no stopping the Gauchos next season either. Um, but the thing is they lost 16-1, and I'm thinking Lumberjacks are about to do this shit. We're about to have Lumberjacks Retrievers face off again, and
And Lumberjacks,
the Lumberjacks, the Retrievers are really good. Like the last time the Retrievers were in the postseason, like they defeated Lumberjacks to get to where they are, and I was thinking, are we about to get a rematch of this to see who advances to Super Series? And obviously, Lumberjacks just fell short. Their offense was awful, and the pitching though for the Gauchos showed up, especially in Game 3 when it mattered the most. Elimination game, pitching for the Gauchos showed up, and that is the end of the story. Like the pitching for the Lumberjacks was so flat. Like we got to see, I believe Jefferson Steelflex come in for a little bit in that Game 3, and
his
then
first appearance in a long time.
yeah, I was like, "Where? I forgot about you." Then who is it? Santana? I can't remember if that's
Yeah, Aaron
like,
Santaya.
yeah. He comes in, and it was funny to watch this because Elder's like, "Who is this guy?"
He was like their number 3 for most of the season.
It was funny to see, but it's like he just could not get it going on the mound. Like it was base hit after base hit. And here's the thing that concerns me though for the Gauchos is despite these wins, they were striking when they were getting out, they were striking out. And that from a mojo perspective is going to be a lot more harsher on the Gauchos than obviously just getting out by grounding out or flying out. They struck out 10 times, I believe, in Game 2. They won 4-1, but struck out 10 times. That's going to be like the Retrievers have some solid pitching, and you cannot be striking out against that team at all. You can't because Yankee Nobrim will be pinch hitting in the 7th inning. So you just can't. You can't. I think we'll go ahead and jump into the conference finals and kind of where we see these matchups. Again, we're moving to best of fives now. In the conference finals, best of fives. First two games are today for both series.
Gauchos are sweeping 3-0.
You think so? Gauchos sweep 3-0. You heard it here from FISAC. I'm gonna say the Retrievers are gonna sneak one. They're gonna sneak. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Gauchos repetition. They're gonna drop game one and then win the next three. I'm gonna go 3-1 favor of the Gauchos. I think the Retrievers are gonna win first game, and then the Gauchos are gonna wake up and win the next three. That's how I see that series going. We start off tonight though with Stingers and Wildcats, but it's at Stingers at Red Rock, which the first game of the series was at Bengata, in which it's crazy to think that a 19-4 game came out of Bengata.
Yeah.
But the Wildcats and the Stingers start their first two games at Red Rock. Is this a game 5 series?
I mean, here's the deal, right? The Wildcats are going to have Beef Boy and Auntie Jar are just elite.
Yep.
I'm not saying Delvecchio isn't elite. I'm not saying Robin Ryan isn't elite. When I think about like power creep, I think of Beef Boy and Auntie Jar.
Yeah.
Is who I think about. And then with Bart's Polo Cologne and Fanny Minshew, the Stingers are going to have Delvecchio, Ryan, Noodle Arm, Gold. I think it's going to be Wildcats win the first two, Stingers win the next two, and then I think the Wildcats win game 5.
So no
Like
one, so no one wins a home game.
No, and I just think that Beef Boy and Auntie Jar are that good. Like they are so freaking good. It's not even fair how good they are. So I just really really think that that's the case.
Yeah.
And then we're going to end up having on Tuesday then we're going to have a 4-game stream, but it's going to be the finish up of the Gauchos Retrievers, and then we're going to have Stingers, Wildcats, Stingers.
Yep. I'm going to say it's going at least 4, but I'm thinking it goes 5. And I don't even know who wins. That's the thing, because if you were to ask me this after these first two games, where I see who's winning game number 5, it all comes down to these offenses. Jackson Moore has kind of, I think there was one game where he had a really solid outing, but he's kind of been flat lately, and he was a really big catalyst in that offense. Bash Sluggington's looking good in this postseason, but like, who's going to show up on that Wildcats offense and carry them to the game 5? And it's even a bigger question on the Stingers side. Who's going to show up from the offensive side? Is it Zarby? Is Zarby going to carry, which is funny to think, is Zarby going to carry the Stingers against the Wildcats into the Super Series? Is that what we're going to see? Who's going to show up for this Stinger squad from the offensive side? Who do you got showing up for the Stingers?
I mean, for this, I'll tell you what, if there's one player who has finally had a breakout season, it's Dink Highgrass. Dink Highgrass he was such a highly touted pick in season 5. Season 6 was when his first time coming in. I think he may have came halfway through, and then season 7 he was fully there. He just had not been as good as his ratings were, and finally this season he got an all-star nod. I really think that a Stinger series win goes through him. I'll tell you what, Squash Pixel at the bottom of the order as well is someone that they can decently rely on. And the other thing I'll say about the Stingers is that the Stingers end up winning here, and they also win a Super Series. You have won a Super Series. Wood has won a Super Series. Gray will have won a Super Series, which you think, oh, Will, that makes you feel bad because you haven't won a Super Series. No, that means that it's inevitable that I'll at least make a conference finals.
Right? So we've all made conference finals. It's not your turn.
That must be nice. That's great for y'all. I'm real happy for y'all.
Next season is your.
That makes me feel so good that all of y'all have had that success. That's great. I love it for you. Very empathetic.
Next year will be your year. Got this.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm putting it down in writing. Next year's my season, guys.
so we're gonna quickly. I'm gonna just. It's not gonna be on screen, but I'm just gonna talk through because of the Lumberjacks win, and obviously because the Bombers lost in the their first round. This set this whole bracket challenge into the worst predicted bracket challenge I've ever seen. And I say this because we have one, two, three, four participants with a potential score in double digits, where we currently have this many in terms of current score in double digits. That's how bad the predictions have been. I don't even know if it's the predictions. It could be the fact that it was just the ups. Like there was some ups. Like people were believing in the wrong fielders. People were believing in obviously the Dragons to make it to the Super Series, as well as the Unicorns. The Unicorns and the Lumberjacks are two big factors into making this bracket challenge absolute garbage. I have 0 points. I have a potential.
You have 0 points.
I have a potential of 0 points, and here's why. Because I predicted, hey, the Wrongfielders are going to beat the Gauchos because the Gauchos haven't shown up in God knows how long, and then the Lumberjacks are going to beat the Wrongfielders. Well, crap. The Lumberjacks didn't even make it to the conference finals. I had the Overdrafts finally beating the Retrievers and facing the Dragons, and the Dragons moving on. But the Dragons didn't move on. On the other side, I had the Serpents, because of fate, beating the Stingers and then beating the Ball Players. Well, none of that happened. And then the other side, fate still was on my side. Bombers were supposed to beat the Wildcats and then beat the Unicorns to face the Serpents and then win the whole damn thing. Well, that's how I got 0 points. But to be fair, we also have whoever did.
Not a single person has predicted the final Super Series at all.
No, there's not a single person who predicted the Super Series. And to be honest, we have only one person in the entire predictions that has a potential to have a Super Series winner. And it is you, my friend. It is you. The Gauchos decide whether you win this bracket challenge or not. If they advance to the Super Series, you're sitting in second place. They win the thing.
So I would have won something.
Yeah, you would have won something. Wow. Incredible. I mean, the fact that we literally are already into the conference finals, which through challenge or however you pronounce it, it's the semifinals, and we have this many predictions in double digits. Like that is, and it's funny because I look at so it's Dean and someone who put their prediction as untitled. They are the ones, they have 9 points, so they're just 1 point from double digits. Dean had the entire Heroic Conference correct. He had half of the Epic Conference correct. He had the Bombers, though, beating the Wildcats. So again, the Bombers, but then he had the Bombers losing to Unicorns and the Unicorns facing the Stingers, which he also had the Unicorns winning the entire thing. That's where he struggles in that.
What do I get if I win? And don't say a Turtle Beach headset because I've already got one.
I don't know. Give you a t-shirt or something.
A T-shirt or something.
I'll figure something out because I don't think we've actually given anything away. It's just always been fun. Maybe next season we'll put like a full on.
Oh, okay. The next season after I play. I'll tell you, one of the most fun things I've ever done is I had a friend who his father had I think prostate cancer, and it was like a $5 March Madness thing where we had like 80 people sign up. Half of the money went to prostate cancer research, and then the winner got the other half. So that's like, that could be like something that we do.
Maybe next season, and maybe we can think into the off season of how this works. Maybe what we can do is actually have the full on weekly prediction system set back up, to where there's a point system that Zarby had, to where we can see who got all the predictions right. and then like we get to the postseason, and then there's, like you said, a charity portion to it. And I think maybe it may be the Super Series next season. We figure something out and it becomes a charity stream. I'm all for that. There's a lot that we can do to really help out the the communities, and there's so much shit going on in the world that we as a group can come together and build some type of charity stream as a Super Series where we're celebrating us finishing a season, but we're also raising money for a good cause. Maybe that's what we should do.
Yeah, if you post in the Jack channel, guys, if you have a recommendation of like what kind of I know like that we it could be some like games related charity, it could be like a sort of a more like a health based charity, it could be you know what maybe we go full World Wildlife Fund, support the panda bear,
Right, right, man. Maybe that's the next expansion team. the
the panda.
pandas the pandas
I
uh
think that'd be pretty dope to be honest. Have the pandas
and we
in.
just and it ends up being like, what was it, the MLB prior to the Astros going into the American League, where it was like lopsided, where where one conference one league had like, what was it, there's 15 teams, so 16 and then 14, some crazy thing. So we just have 25 teams in the SSBL and one is pandas. And
They're in their own division. They just play themselves every week.
no, they're like the Notre Dame. They're independent. They just play 16 games randomly.
They can only get an at-large bid.
They only are they could choose which conference they want to go into the postseason. Or we just spin the lottery.
I'll tell you what team would have liked to choose which conference they go to the postseason was the High Rollers this past season.
No kidding. We'll just let the Pandas spin the wheel every season. If they have a matching record of a team within the postseason, or maybe they're just a play-in team. If there's a tiebreaker, you don't play the team that you need.
Or what if we just do the postseason as regular, but then the winner of the Super Series has to face the Pandas
What
in
if
order
Pandas was just a charity team?
Ah,
That's
we're really clicking through this here.
But it's just a charity team, and the winner of the Super Series plays the Pandas in a best of 5 or whatever fun stream. That becomes charity stream of season 9. Out like
it should be best of 7, and the Pandas is actually whatever charity that we end up choosing or whatever cause we end up choosing. It'll be a team related to that.
Right. Maybe that's what we do. And then what we do is we handpick players in the league to face the Super Series team. Like we built like a superstar team for the Pandas.
Yeah, the all-stars of the all-stars.
Yes, but it's like mixed conferences. Epic Conference, Heroic Conference, they come together in one team for a good cause. We'll go ahead and say it. Next season's the Pandas. I'm going to start working on a damn logo. Like I can already see it. Black, white, green. Like we'll go a little bit of green because pandas, wildlife, need some greenery in there. Like full-fledged. I'm all for it. You for it?
This was a podcast. It's turned into a brainstorming session.
And that's totally fine. That's what I do for a living.
No, that's right. You're an entrepreneur in the esports space. That's how this works. Everything's a brainstorming session.
So guys, if you're literally listening to this podcast, put it in the comments below on YouTube, as well as put it into the Jack General. I'm on both. I want them into the comment section. I want it into the Discord.
Copy the same comments and put them in both.
Yes, I get notifications. I don't get notifications for Jack General because sometimes I can get a little bit wild. I get notifications though for comments on YouTube. Okay, I get those. So let's come together for a good cause next season. The Pandas versus the winner of the Super Series for a full-fledged charity stream.
I still think Panda's name in the air unless it's for like a bamboo conservatory thing, but we'll hash it out. We'll
definitely hash it out. I get pretty creative with these.
I just like pandas.
I like pandas is a good thing, we just came up with something brand new here.
It could be pandas one season, then red pandas, then manatees, the pandas of the sea.
So we just partnered with the World Wildlife Foundation and
Every single season.
every season. Oh gosh. Oh, what have we done? So we are almost to the end of the season, and this is getting nuts. We have 4 teams that have never made a Super Series. So, well, actually, no, the Retrievers have made a Super. 3 teams of the 4 have not made the Super Series. From the Epic, we will have the team to win their first ever Epic Conference Finals, which I'm excited for that. That's going to be incredible to see. I don't know, like I really don't know which team's going to win that one. That one's to me is a harder one to call than the Gauchos Retriever series. Sorry, Puppet.
And as a result, the Epic will be a 3-0 sweep, and the Retrievers will win it in 5.
Yeah,
that's the way it works.
So, and then the Gauchos have a chance to start their dynasty this season. They have the best chance right now against Retrievers, then potentially going to the Super Series and starting their dynasty and potentially the first ever back-to-back champions. They have the best chance of doing it. Out of all 4 teams, they have the best chance. Sorry, Stingers, I don't see that happening with you. Wildcats, I don't see it happening with you. Retrievers, you got the dog in you.
Retrievers, you need to kiss Yankee No Brim shoes because that's the only reason you're here.
And he's not. He's a bench player.
He's not even your regular player. He hit those home runs out of spite.
He's about to be the most sought after player in the off season.
I might get him just so I can put him in the minors and never have him exist.
So imagine Yankee No Brim is going to be like traded for like a first round pick. Watch someone is going to give a first round pick or maybe a second round pick. Yankee No Brim.
It would probably hold on. On three. Who would that person be? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Maniac.
May. Yeah. We're on the same wavelength.
I think the best part about this prediction is the fact that he doesn't have a first round pick.
No. Season 10 picks will open up.
Season 11 picks.
Season 11 picks will open up. So wow, that is actually
the season 11 first round pick will be coming to. It'll be gone by the end of the offseason, and Yankee No Brim will carry the ball players to the Epic Divisional round next year.
I think it was just really funny that we knew exactly what we were gonna say too. Maniac, we don't mean that. Yeah, this is out of love. This is out of love.
All love. But if anyone was gonna go trade something crazy for Yankee No Brim, it's gonna be you, pal.
I got first round picks and I got too many of them.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I have all 3 of my S11 picks. I gotta get rid of them.
We're 2 seasons out. I still have them.
Can I go and trade 12?
Where are we at for season 15 picks? Can I trade my season 15 picks yet?
Oh gosh. Oh my. All right. So this is gonna go live. We're live at 6:00 today. Yes.
Yep.
All right. We're currently at
from here on out.
48 minutes. Well, here on out. So next is next week 6.
Except for Sunday. Sunday will be. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if you saw on the commentators channel. Because I know that you wanted to do play-by-play, so we can adjust that time based off what you need.
I want 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. All right, we'll make it 5 o'clock. That means that Whitney will probably be a little late.
That's fine. He can come in and do his dugout duties.
and then for everyone, just so you know, Wednesday will be the start of the Minor Super Series. We'll have the Minors All-Stars posted probably some point today. Shout out to Dean for putting those together. We're actually I think we're just gonna put Major Champs on the Raptors. We'll just make it simple because he was on the Raptors this season. So even though he's in the majors, we'll just make him a Minors All-Star. So shout out to Dean for doing that. So that Wednesday stream will kick off with that All-Star game, and then we'll have the first 3 of the Minor Super Series. Again, all that will be on YouTube, and then Sunday we will have game 4 of the Super Series at 12 p.m. Central. as well as whatever games are necessary will follow that. Monday will be 3 games, and then Tuesday will be game 4 whenever other games are necessary.
Yep. Yep. We want at least one game for that second day with a little bit of built up anticipation.
And it just makes it so much easier because it was always like, well, we have to play game 4, and then, well, if it's like 3-1, then we might as well play game 5. But then it just got into like, well, we might as well play this game. So having 3 games guarantees that we will have games the next day.
Yep. That works for me. But 5 o'clock for the Super
Next
Series.
week, 6
And-
p.m. Central, all this week.
And that means come like Wednesday, I'm going to be starting to make the hype video.
So if you are a conference finals team, I don't think you sent out that
No, I didn't
notification
send the last
to.
2 teams. The last 2 teams we were waiting on. I did not send it out to. I will send it to. But this is approaching 50 minutes. I gotta jump on a call for work, and
I gotta go teach.
Right, you're gonna go teach. I'm gonna go do some work stuff. And so here's the thing. This is going live. As soon as you finish this, you're gonna need to jump over to twitch.tv/officialssbl. The timer is probably already started by the time that you guys are listening to this now. So go on, head over to twitch.tv/officialssbl. FiSack on the call with Whitney. Yes, today.
Yes.
Yes, Whitney on the call, 6 p.m. Central Time. Thank you for watching episode 14 of Jacked. My name is Jay Watt alongside FiSack. We'll see you next week.
Keep on rigging, everybody. Go Pandas!